morning, welcome to this practice. Today we're going to start in a seated position. You can prop your hips up on a bolster or a block just to create more space in the hips and raise your hips higher than your knees. So once you find your seated position, you can either rest your shins on top of the arches of your feet, or you can bring one heel into your groin and the other one stacking in front of it. So whatever feels comfortable to you. And once you arrive to your seat, seeing just how quickly you can drop in here. Noticing what sensations we feel in our body today. If we're feeling a lightness or a heaviness, just noticing, feeling our sit bones grounding down to the earth and our spine elongating up towards the sky. Rolling your shoulders up and back and down your spine. And then beginning to notice our breath. Where it's sitting in the body. If it feels shallow or integrated, placing no judgment, just noticing. Now beginning to deepen the breath. Bringing breath to those places you noticed needed a little extra love. Those sticky places, the heavy places, the aggravations. Noticing them and sending them breath. We will move into our pranayama practice. Inviting our ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, the ocean breath, creating our own little soundscape, our own little ocean soundscape. And if this breath is new to you, it is a slight constriction in the back of our throats that creates this space for the breath to move from your nostrils all the way down to your lungs unobstructed. Allowing our ujjayi to be soft today and spacious. Not forcing the breath, not pushing it until it hurts. Just allowing it to be soft and supple and easeful. Ujjayi is known for creating heat in the body. And so if you're feeling this heat, know that you can always take a big exhale out of your mouth to clear energy and clear warmth, to cool the bodily systems down. But otherwise, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe creating an intention today. Mine will be Santosha, the niyama that talks about contentment. And this contentment is an allowing of whatever is present for you. And so it's not a contentment in terms of sticking a happy face on and just trying to be happy. But it's a contentment in finding peace with exactly where we are and what we're doing and what waves are inundating us. And what space we have that we can fill. It's finding grace among turbulence. It's Rita, which means the rhythm among chaos. Finding this contentment without looking externally. Bringing it home, bringing it internally to our awareness. Noticing how your Ujjayi breath is feeling in the body, and seeing if you can keep it with you during your practice today. Slowly blinking our eyes open and beginning our practice. So inhale, bringing our arms up above our heads. Exhale, hands find heart center. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, left fingertips to our left hand side. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale, reaching our right fingertips over to the left side, creating a stretch in our right side body. Inhaling to slightly come out and exhaling to sink deeper. Ensuring our shoulder is up and back. Inhaling to center. Exhaling, sprinkling our right fingertips down to the earth. Inhaling to elongate. Exhale, reaching our left fingertips over to our right side. Inhaling to slightly come out. Exhaling, sinking in. Inhaling to come up. Exhale, hands to heart center, and then we'll find our hands on our knees. And on an inhale, we'll tilt our sit bones back and reach our hearts forward. Exhale, pressing back, reaching the back of your heart back in space, rounding our spine, looking down at our navel. Inhaling, pulling our heart through. And exhaling, pressing back. I invite you to take some non-linear movement here. My one teacher used to call it scribbles. And so just starting to move your spine in a very intuitive way. Inhaling to open your heart and exhaling to find your back body. And then switching direction.
Mom, there's another way.
Inhaling to find center here. And then exhaling, moving your bolster or your block out of the way. And then rolling over your knees to come to a tabletop position. Inhaling, widening our sit bones up to the sky, pulling our hearts through our shoulders. On an exhale, we press the ground away from us, pressing the back of our hearts up to the sky and creating space between the scapulas here. Inhaling, widening our sit bones, pulling our hearts through. Exhaling, pressing back. And then I invite you to find that non-linear movement once again. So moving your spine in whatever way is calling you. So maybe that's circles. Maybe that's just normal cat and cows. Maybe it's front and back. Just awakening the spine here. And now looking down at our hands, bringing our fingertips to spread wide and pressing down in all four corners of our hands. It's okay. All right. And now looking at our hands, ensuring that they're pressing evenly through the ground and tucking your toes and pressing back to a downward facing dog. Our hands are wide here. Our hips are reaching up towards the sky. There's a direct line of energy from our fingertips up towards our sacrum. Our shoulders are rolling away from our ears. And looking back at your knees, ensuring they're tracking in line with your toes. So we want the energy of our feet to be grounding down to the earth. However, if you need a bend in your knees here, please feel free to take it. Creating space and creating ease for your body to move. In her own wisdom and her own intuition. Ensuring your core is engaged here, your ribs are knit in. Then we'll inhale, come to our tiptoes, and undulate our spine forward, coming to a plank position. Our hands are our shoulder width distance. Our shoulders are stacked right over top our wrists. And our shoulders are in line with our hips here. Dropping your knees, widening your sit bones up to the sky, and dropping your chest and your chin. On an inhale, rolling your pelvis down to the floor and pressing your toes into the earth. On an inhale, rising up. And on an exhale, finding your chest to the floor. Inhaling, rise up. Exhaling. Tuck your toes, come to your hands and knees, and then press back into that downward facing dog. Taking one deep breath here, and then walking up to the top of your mat. Bringing your feet, your big toes to touch, and your heels a little bit apart. Dropping the crown of your head down to the earth. Uttanasana, forward fold. On an inhale, bending your knees, engaging your core to rise you all the way up to stand. Inhaling, bringing your hands up to the sky. Shoulders move away from our ears. Urdhva A big inhale here. Lengthening. Exhale, bringing our hands to our heart center. Looking back down at our feet. Bringing our big toes to touch. Our heels are a tiny smidgen apart. And we're going to ground down through all four corners of our feet. And then pick up all 10 toes and then lower them down. We're going to feel an internal rotation of our calves with an external rotation of our hips. So it's this spiral motion here in our legs. And then we're going to lengthen our tailbone down to the earth. And just with this action, you notice how that fires up the belly. So our belly is fired up. And then without flaring the ribs, we want to roll our shoulders back. Make sure our scapulas are kissing on our back body. And our heart is proud. Imagine there's a grapefruit underneath your chin here. And so in the honor of santosha, of contentment with us just as we are, we're going to salute the sun here. And so thanking the earth for being just as she is, and the sun for being just as he is. Inhaling, rising our arms up to the sky. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthening our spine. So if you can't quite get your spine to lengthen and there's still a rounding of your back, I invite you to bring your hands to your thighs, to your shins, or to the floor, or to blocks if you have those. But depth is really not our goal here. It is the intuition of what our body needs and creating the space that it needs. Exhale, forward fold. Ensuring that you have a cinch in your waist here. And that you're really dropping your head. Your head weighs 5 kilograms, so that's a lot of weight to be holding up all the time. So letting it drop here. Your knees can be nice and bent, or they can straighten, whatever is most comfortable for you. Inhale, halfway lift, planting our hands, stepping back to our plank position, lowering our knees, widening our sit bones up to the sky, and lowering our chest and chin. Inhale, grounding our pelvis down, undulating forward, inhaling our heart forward. Baby cobra. Exhale, tucking our toes, bringing ourselves back to a child's pose, and then pressing right back up into that downward facing dog. So in this downward facing dog, you can either choose stillness or you can choose movement. So you can pedal out your feet. You can move your hips from side to side. Or you can create some spinal undulations. So on an inhale, we would roll forward. And on an exhale, we would bend our knees almost all the way to the earth, and then widen our sit bones up to the sky and press back. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Third time's the charm. And then becoming still here. One deep breath into the stillness. And then walking slowly, all the way up to the top of our mats. Inhaling, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, bending our knees generously. Inhaling, up to stand. Exhaling, hands, heart center. We're going to do this next one with the breath. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, swan dive, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, spine elongates. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin. Or bring your arms to a 90-degree angle into your chaturanga and roll over your toes, pulling your heart through to an upward facing dog. So in your upward facing dog, your knees are lifting off of the ground. You're just on your tippy toes and your hands. Exhale, press back to a downward facing dog. Taking 5 breaths here. And now, walking slowly up towards the top of our mat. Big toes come to meet. Heels are slightly apart. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise up to Urdhva Exhale, hands through heart center. Tadasana.